Okay, guys, this is another QuestBridge AMA, but this time with Elijah and Anthony, two Northwestern students who had matched through QuestBridge. Elijah, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Elijah. I matched Western, Questbridge, and I will be majoring in biomedical engineering.
All right, Anthony.
Hello, I'm Anthony. I was also a high school senior that matched to Northwestern via Questbridge. I was accepted into the ISP program at Northwestern, and I'll be triple majoring in ISP, math, and chemistry.
Okay, so the first question is, when did you start your writing your essays? June, before June, before July? I think is what they were trying to ask.
So I just looked at the document history, and I started around. It was like late July when I started making the documents and organizing everything, and then I think I really went into the essays around. I think it was later in August.
I think it really depends on the person. So, like, a lot of people write just like by like putting down random thoughts on a page and then trying to make an essay out of that. Or it just really depends on the type of writer. You'll find out how you're like what the kind of writer you are as you just like start to write them. But I will say that the first couple essays that you write will be absolute trash. So don't be afraid to like keep rewriting. So I'd say start early as possible. Once check up on all of your college's supplementals, comment at essays whenever those are released. Just always try and get as quick as possible to start writing because you know that the first couple drafts will be pretty bad.
Okay, second question. If there was one QuestBridge school you would remove, which one would it be?
Me and Hong were talking about this.
Elijah, you want to go first?
I don't really know, but you guys are saying USC, so I mean that makes sense. They don't really match a lot of people, and apparently their financial aid is not great either. So I don't really know why they're there.
Oh, I looked at the questions list. I would say UVA. I like never knew that they were a question school until now.
All right, moving on. Third question. What is a good way to write the why Northwestern / personal statement? You guys can take as much time as you want on this one.
Okay.
I guess think about your passions, what you like to do, where your extracurriculars lie. Then I would write about what you plan to do, career-wise or just your interests, and try to tie how Northwestern can provide those opportunities, but not just like the generic ones that most colleges can provide. Just think specific to a school.
I would definitely say that. That's I should pretty hit it on nail on the head. But what I would add is that so I'm pretty sure it's okay. So I'm looking at my essay. It's a 300-word essay, which is like a size essay. So I would say pick like one or two interests that you know you'll be pursuing at Northwestern, and then try to put in really specific things about Northwestern that will help you fulfill those passions. So like putting down like specific professors that you want to work with or certain programs that are only specific to Northwestern is a really good thing to have in your essay, but definitely don't make it cliche. Like talking about how like the campus is near Chicago is probably a very cliche thing to do. Don't end your essay about being excited to be a Wildcat. That's also a no-brainer. Don't do that. But this one's really hard to say like some good tips because it all depends on what you're wanting to do. So you just make it very specific to you and also about Northwestern the campus.
Yeah. Anthony, you want? I know for your essay, you want to give like an example from your essay, as it was pretty specific, if I remember correctly.
I did not hear one thing you said.
Oh, sorry. I said, do you want to give an example from like your essay? because I know you have some very specific points that you made in your essay.
Okay, so yeah, I did a lot of things with in my high school career about renewable energy. So I talked about the Answer Center at Northwestern, which is it's well, this is a specific quote. So I want to contribute to this leap by developing more efficient and modular batteries. Current electrochemical research is being led by the greatest scientists around the world. For example, the Answer Center at Northwestern is pushing the limits to redefine the traditional galvanic cell in the wake of the rapidly developing technological area. I want to participate in this active research at the Answer Center because if we can develop flexible batteries that can morph, hold a longer charge, and output a higher voltage, we can take that next leap into a sustainable future. So this type of opportunity is very specific to Northwestern. I haven't seen much other programs at other colleges that are specifically targeted towards renewable energy. So I saw that as a way to sort of spike my my certain application.
All right, thank you for that, Anthony. So guys, next question. If there's one thing you could go back and change about your college application, what would it be? Elijah?
I don't really know. I'll have to think about this one.
Okay, so Anthony, would you like to go first? Then?
Yeah, I'll go. Definitely, I would do more research on each college because I feel like I shotgunned a lot of colleges, and like applied because it sounded cool to apply there. But definitely getting to know what your likes and dislikes in a college is really important before you even start writing any essays, because first it gets you really a shorter list that is more tailored to your likes, like, so you're not applying to these random schools because it just sounds cool to apply to them, or that you're just clout chasing. Second is that your essays will definitely sound a lot more passionate because you know exactly what kind of college you're looking into and like what it is about these certain colleges that you like, and your essays don't sound very like template or cookie cutter.
I agree with that. I feel like I researched colleges, but I probably could have done more about that, looking at pros and cons of each one, and also at multiple perspectives from different students, because not every student has the same experience. So I think researching past students and current students, their thoughts, all that stuff will definitely help you to know if that college is fitting for you. Because there might be a lot of colleges that fit your criteria, but there are definitely others that won't. So you want to make sure you can differentiate those.
All right, thank you guys. So next question is, which Questbridge school has the cutest mascot? This is a very serious question, guys. So
True.
I'll give Elijah and Anthony, I don't know, a minute to look up all the mascots. Have fun. I can hear his keyboard clicking away, guys.
What the fuck? The U Chicago mascot is Phil Phoenix. That's the most head ass shit I've ever heard.
Alright, calm down there, Anthony.
That is just I just have to say that is pretty head ass.
So some suggestions is Dartmouth. You can take a look at Dartmouth.
I was just looking at Dartmouth.
You can take a look at what's it called, Stanford, if you want. I don't know. Anyone else wants to throw in suggestions?
I like Brown's name, Bruno the Bear. That's cute.
Bruno the Bear.
Is that your final answer, Elijah?
It's a cute name.
I will have to say the Caltech Beaver.
Caltech Beaver. Okay. Elijah, what's
Hot.
your final answer?
Bruno the Bear.
Bruno the
for
Bear.
Brown. Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Next question. And that was exactly a minute. Look at that, guys. What are you most looking forward to at college, and
Danny
what are
knows what's
you
up.
least looking forward to?
For me, I think it's meeting different people, with different perspectives, and also making new friends, finding a new environment. Like,
Oh, Elijah, I think you just cut out.
Oh, so I said meeting new people and um, different perspectives and all that stuff. So it should be exciting, but I am not looking forward to oh, I heard it's kind of stressful. It's a quarter system, but hopefully it's not too bad.
Most looking forward to is definitely studying exactly what you like. So there isn't that many filler classes that you have to take unless you're in Weinberg, rip me, because you have a liberal arts degree. But if you're in like McCormick or something like that, you can literally just take all STEM or like all STEM classes. You don't have to take any humanities or random language requirements. You can take exactly what you want, and you enjoy every single class, not like in high school. Least looking forward to is definitely that Rona, you know. So when we go back to college, there's going to be masks, and there's a lot of other things that we have to abide by now.
Alright. So next question. How do you choose which Questbridge schools to rank / narrow down your college list in general? Take it away, Elijah.
So this is similar to the other question, researching. I didn't do enough of it, but I feel I already had in mind some schools that I was planning to apply to, and then I found out about Questbridge, and then they were partnered with Questbridge, so I was like, okay, that works out. But I did eventually like take off some schools that I feel like I imagined myself being there, and some of them I felt like I wouldn't be 100% happy. Not to be picky or anything, it's just you want to make sure because it's binding. You want to, or for most schools, it's binding, so you want to make sure you to school and would to be there. So an example would be like I had Notre Dame, I applied, I withdrew it later because it's a pretty suburban area, suburban rural-ish. So I prefer location-wise being closer to a city. So then that's why I drew it.
I definitely agree with Elijah on this one. Research is the number one key when it comes to making your college list for Questbridge. Do keep in mind that most of them are binding, but I see this so many times for Questbridge kids is that they only rank the non-binding schools. And since 2 of the schools this year are dropping out of non-binding, wait, is it Yale and Princeton? Yeah, Yale and Princeton are
yes.
binding now. Yeah,
Yes.
they're binding now, right? So I know the kids that only ranked non-binding because they were indecisive. I think that they're only indecisive because they didn't do enough research and they don't know their colleges well enough, honestly. So I would say really do take your time to research colleges. Try and picture yourself there and then make your list from that way. Also consider the most important part is options after the match, because the match is really out of your control. It's different than a lot of college applications, and like I know that college applications are still already so random, but like including the income factor for the match, it's a lot of the factors are out of your hands at this point. So really do look at options after the match and all of your colleges, your policies. So for example, I ranked Caltech first, second was UChicago, and third was Northwestern. And then I think I ranked Stanford, and then I think Rice after that. But the reason why I picked Caltech first was because after the match, if you were not matched, you could not apply via ED and via EA, and then you had to go through RD. So I ranked them first. Second was UChicago. They immediately would give you an EA decision if you're not matched. That was a pretty good decision. Third was Northwestern, which is if you did not match, you automatically could get placed into ED, which got me a greater chance. So rank them via, I ranked them based on like, so Caltech was the hardest to get into. Second was UChicago, and then third was Northwestern. I thought that was a pretty good way of going about things for that.
Okay. I just further, Anthony. Can you, Anthony and Elijah? I guess Anthony, you can go first on this. Can you guys like expand a little bit on like maybe like tips and tricks for researching a school? I know many juniors here are very new to this process, so can you give me tips and tricks you learned throughout the admissions process?
Yeah, there's a lot of resources out there, and sometimes it can be a lot of like really overwhelming. But honestly, just starting with a really simple Google search and just going through their homepage, going through the feel of their website can really give you a lot about the vibe of their school. So, like, take for example, like Caltech's website, very minimalist, very computer sciencey. You could go on to Northwestern. It's very classic, very look at their font, the way they're branding. It's I would say very modern. Then you can go through all the other ones. Stanford is again very sort of like Northwestern, but West Coast, and then more CS based. Just like even starting there can get you a good vibe of what your school is, and starting off with a really simple basic list can help you. Then I would recommend going and talking to other students and alumni. If it's on this Discord, on Reddit, reaching out to other communities where you can talk to these students, like current students, really helps you get a decision of like what it's like on a campus. And then there are a bunch of other resources. Definitely would not recommend going on to College Confidential. Do not do that. So yeah.
For me, you can keep going.
No, yeah, go ahead, Elijah.
For me, I use you want to look at their website, look at the programs that you're interested in as well. I mainly use like virtual tours, look at the campus itself, YouTube videos, people do tours, or there's a lot of them, and so looking at reviews, I usually looked at like the school name and then pros and cons just to see any negative and positive features that people have seen, but make sure you see multiple perspectives because one pro might be a con for another person. So yeah.
Wait, I think oh wait fuck, never mind. I just lost my spot. Never mind. Go.
Alright, cool. Just interrupt me if you remember again. Final thought on that question is, do not go on applying to college on Reddit either. That place really isn't that great. Just like College Confidential. Okay, next question. Any general advice for extracurriculars? How do you determine if your extracurriculars are top school worthy?
So, do what you feel like. Follow your interests, right? I had someone on. I did a chance me. I don't know why I did it, but someone said mine were mediocre. So I was like,
don't worry, I did a chance me too. It's fine.
I mean, I didn't take it personally, right? But it's just doing what you are interested in, and not because what you think college admissions will want you to see, right? There are always people who have nonprofits do all those things for college, but do what doing what you've done, and especially with this situation, it's hard to start a new extracurricular. So continue in the ones you have and invest more time into them.
I would have to add on to that. So, what I would definitely stress quality over quantity, and depending on your school, most schools enjoy, or like I've seen a lot of kids who do get in, or college admissions officers call a shoe-in, is spike kids. So I actually graduated a year early, so I only had 3 years in high school. So I did not have the number of extracurriculars as other kids did. So definitely what I mean by spike is that you want to focus on one really good thing that you enjoy, one, and two, that you're really good at, that you could get to the state or national type level. Writing about that and making your application surround that is what we call as a spike kid, because the college admissions officer can see exactly what you can envision what you're doing on campus, and they know exactly what your interest is. You're not really spread out across everything where it seems like you're a jack of all trades and you don't know exactly what you're doing, which is okay. Some kids can do that. It all really depends on your school. So take these things with a grain of salt, but that's my 2 cents. I was more of a STEM kid. I did chemistry a lot, so I went that as my spike and did Olympiads. That's one way to go about it. How to determine if your extracurriculars are top school worthy? That's a little bit too general and too subjective to that. us, high schoolers that don't know what exactly got us in can answer.
Yeah. Before we move on to the next one, I mean to just touch upon a little bit on the top school worthy thing. My extracurriculars were just teaching children and seniors computer science and helping them with their laptop, their desktop, their phone. So there's nothing really quote unquote top school worthy. Just keep this in mind. Consistency is key. Schools, I think, prefer to see you being consistent in an extracurricular than you having 20 extracurriculars.
True. Commitment is a big thing.
So we have another serious question. So I'll give Elijah and Ping 2 minutes to research this. Which Questbridge school has the ugliest logo?
Not to throw shade, but I'm gonna guess that it's one of the liberal arts colleges.
Well, you have until 3:32 to give me an answer. So
Okay.
good luck to you two.
I'll take my time. I'll take my time. I have my answer. Colgate University. Why is it just the C? It's just the C.
All right.
That's a good.
That's definitely some graphic design is my passion type shit.
All right. Anthony has his answer. Elijah.
I'll agree.
You'll agree?
That's sad. I'll agree because I don't have time to look through Marie's partner.
Well, Elijah, you have 1 more minute if you want to.
Okay, I think that's a pretty good answer.
Yeah, why is it just the C?
All right, next question. What's a common incorrect myth you hear about the college application process? And you guys can actually hit on multiple if you want. So, Elijah, you want to start?
Anthony can go first. Let me think about it.
Oh God. A myth?
Yep, a myth.
Hmm.
Or I guess we can even expand this to like misconceptions.
Myth or misconceptions?
We'll do both since it might be a little bit hard if we're talking
That schools have score cutoffs. Definitely a myth. I have seen so many kids get in with below average ACTs or SATs. It's not uncommon to see that happen. Score cutoffs. So like if it's like some colleges might like some people think that that like say like Northwestern has like a 28 ACT cutoff. So like if you're below that, then they won't accept you. That's not exactly true. They review what colleges like to throw out is called holistic admissions. So they always say that they look at multiple factors, including your extracurriculars, and not one thing can exactly count you out of the race. That's definitely one of the biggest myths.
Elijah.
I don't know. What are some misconceptions? Maybe that going to a state school isn't as good. I mean, you can still get a great education at state schools or any other public schools, right? There are a lot of great ones, and sometimes it's better option cost-wise, but other times it might not be. But for a good amount of people, it might be better, or you can save some money and then.
Yeah, so specifically for Questbridge kids, I will say that one of the bigger factors that people overlook is the price. Like, many families cannot afford going to a top 20 school on full pay. Do consider options like community college or state school, and then if you're going to community college, like look into ways to transfer out your second year. That is definitely a valid option that many people do not look at. I would say that is one of the bigger misconceptions or overlooked options in the college admissions process.
Anthony and Elijah, do you guys want to touch upon another one where that all colleges evaluate applicant the same way?
Ooh. My speculation is that that's actually not true. I think that the college admissions process looks at every single student a little bit differently based off of like other factors. Like I'm pretty sure that a lot of them are like need blind, but like that's still somewhat a factor in your admissions, especially for Questbridge kids when you're looking at the match. The income is a factor. I'm pretty sure zero EFC is one of the bigger things that they look for people in the match. Although you can get matched with without a zero EFC, it's very unlikely that it happens.
EFC is more valued in match than regular decision, but
I mean, I'll just end this question here by telling anyone listening listening or watching that you not getting matched, you not getting finalists, does not mean that you can't get into any of the Questbridge schools or any other top colleges like Harvard, Cornell, Carnegie Mellon. It just means that because Questbridge looks at EFC, as Elijah and Anthony points out, a lot more carefully than the school would. But then, and for the match too, where some colleges have specific requirements for them to accept a student. So let's move on to the next question. I don't know how well Elijah and Anthony can answer this one. How is the social scene at Northwestern?
I mean, I'm not there yet, so I can't really give a good answer.
Yeah, but I will say that a lot of people do say that sometimes can be a lot lonely, very lonely, because there's so many groups. But there's two sides to that. So there's a lot of groups on campus for a lot of people say that, yeah, there's a lot of groups on campus for you to join, but sometimes that can be a little bit overwhelming. But the upside to that is that everyone can find their own niche. It all just depends on what you take out of it, you know?
And to the person who asked this question, I'll pass this question on to the current students at Northwestern who had the last AMA, and I will get you an answer then. Any more questions, guys?
Shout out to the Law Tech loser in the voice channel. I respect you for using Law Tech.
Hey, last call for questions, guys, before this AMA ends. I see Danny's typing, so I assume she's asking a question. Which Questbridge school will you never apply to?
Never apply to. Never apply to. Ooh, Columbia.
Why?
Yeah, Columbia for me too.
Columbia. I just do not like the vibe of that school. It's a very specific type of person that would. It's just like I just did not vibe with the. It's very preppy at that school. A lot of people were. I don't know what it is about it. It's just too preppy for me, I guess.
Elijah?
I would also say Columbia. For me, maybe because I don't know if it's true. I heard they're very liberal, and also I've heard of some very interesting events that happened there. So, and also I know they are in the city, so I don't personally want to go college in the city, like NYU, but like close to the city, so like Northwestern. That's my preference, but.
Yes, cost of living I heard in Columbia is just terrible.
All right, and we'll end it off with this question, the last one. Any last final piece of advice as we're going into the application season?
3 things. Research. Start now. Please start now. Please start now. Look at colleges, understand what exactly you like and what you want out of your college experience in the next 4 years. 2, start your essays. Start them now. Get some ideas on the page. As long as even having your brain thinking about it in the back of your mind all day, it will help you understand what kind of person you are, and you'll actually figure out a lot about yourself in the college admissions process. And 3 is do not try your best to not get toxic. don't compare yourself too much as you like this process can really tear apart a lot of friends and things like that. Try and surround yourself with a lot of supportive people. It's a really tough process, and using this community, this question community, really helped me a lot when I was going through it. So use the server as a way to connect with other students, get your essays revised, research colleges with other people, or just connect and find friends while you're trying to get through this process, because you're all in it together, you know. And Questbridge kids have it a lot harder because everything's due way earlier. Finances adds additional stress that a lot of people do not have to understand, and just have fun with it.
I agree with all of those, and I would say invest time into it, be organized, then don't invest your entire life into it, as in college isn't the end, right? There's more to life than just college. It's one step. It's a big step in life or a change, but wouldn't worry too much about it, right? You'll end up, or hopefully everyone ends up being happy where they're going with next year. I would say invest into the college process, but don't invest where your life depends on it.
Exactly. I will say a lot of people treat college as like a final destination. It's not. It's a stepping stone to it. So don't treat it as like this like really big thing that you just needed to like. It's like if you don't get into the top 20, your life is gonna end. Don't worry about it.
All right, thank you guys. And this AMA is over. I'll stop the recording now.